point is this, is everybody starts off broke. Most Americans like broke so much they keep going back to it throughout their adult lives, you know, like visiting the old hometown. But here's the point, and there's a wonderful line from Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio once said, you know, there's no rich men's sons in the major leagues. He said they don't have the stomach for it. He said they don't have the hunger. They don't have the guts. They don't have the drive. He said rich men's sons grow up soft. He said all the hitters in the major leagues grew up hard. So if you had a difficult childhood and you didn't have a lot of money and your mommy and daddy didn't love you the way you wanted them to love you and so on, if you had a difficult childhood coming up, you should thank God every single morning because it's given you the character and the guts and the determination and the grit that will enable you to be successful. Yes. It's the worst thing that can happen is to grow up easy. Grow up hard. If you grow up hard, then you'll always be able to bounce back because you've done this before. Anyway, so there were 5,000 millionaires in 1900. In the year 2000, there were 5 million. By the year 2010, 2020, there'll be 10 or 15 million millionaires. And your job is to be one of those millionaires, and my job is to get you there. Now, here's a question. How many people like to double their income? You say yes? Okay. If I could show you how to do it, would you give it a try? Now, that is a test question. It's the only test question of the day. Do you know what the average number of times is that a person tries on a new goal before they give up? It's less than 1. Most people give up before they try it even once. Is they say, I'm going to set a new goal and I'm going to dedicate myself to doing this and more of this, less of that. They hear these wonderful talks by Jim and Dennis and Chris, and you hear these wonderful talks. They think, well, I'm going to make some decisions. But most people don't even try the first time. They talk themselves into it at the seminar and they talk themselves right back out of it on the way home. And they think of all the reasons why it's not possible. You know, there's a disease that plagues America. It's called excusitis. It's the inflammation of the excuse-making gland, which is invariably fatal to success. Now, here's the worst thing. Not only do they talk themselves out of it and don't do it, but someone else says, you know, I'm going to do that. I'm going to lose that weight and save that money and start that business and so on. So, no, it won't work. It won't work. What do you mean it won't work? Well, I thought about doing it once, too. Did you ever do anything about it? No, I didn't, but I knew it wouldn't work. And so they'll take great delight in talking other people out of it. That's why it's so important to associate and affiliate with the people who are here. One of the things I learned from Jim Rohn many years ago is get around the right people. Get around the right people. If you want to know where the right people are, turn to the left, turn to the right, right? These are the right people. People you associate with, as Chris was saying, your relationships will determine the quality of your life more than any other single factor. So, I have some good news for you. Everybody here is going to double their income. I have it on good statistical evidence. Everybody here is going to double their income. Yes, yes. If you live long enough. The average person's income goes up in America about 3 to 4% a year. So if you work for another 18 to 22 years, 3 to 4% a year, compound interest, you'll double your income. Is this what you had in mind? Say no. No. When do we want to do it? Now. All right. Now, I have to show you something. This is a chart. I hired a consultant to come in and work for me some years ago when Dale and I were working together, and he was going to study every part of my business. At the end of it, he left me with a lousy T-shirt and this graph and a bill for several $1,000s. But I think the graph was worth it because the graph is a picture that once you have it, you can apply it not only to your life but to different aspects of your life. And I'll show you what this graph is. This is the graph of income. So let's just say, imagine that this is the amount of income that you make in the course of your life, and this is where you start, and this is time. These are the years of your life. And this is where you end up at the end of your life. Now, there's all kinds of different incomes. Here's what we have discovered, by the way, is that each person decides where they're going to be on the income graph. By the things that we do, and by the things that we fail to do, and often the things that we fail to do have a worse effect on our life than the things that we do, but by the things we do or fail to do, the choices and decisions we make or don't make determine how much we earn. People say, no, my income is determined by my industry. No, because there's people in your industry making 10 times as much as you. There's people in your industry making half as much as you. So we decide where we will be in the long run. Now, we don't decide it overnight, but we decide where we'll be in the long run. So what we find is that everybody starts off earning something, okay? You start off with your first job, and then most people's financial life is very much like the weather. It's unpredictable. It's sort of like a bad week on the NASDAQ. Their financial life is like this. It goes up and down, and sometimes they're in the money, sometimes they're out. Sometimes they're broke, sometimes they're unemployed, sometimes they're employed, making bonuses and so on. This is their financial life. Sometimes they're the windshield, sometimes they're the bug. And isn't that a true statement? And then at the end of a person's life, as a result of experience plus luck.
Pay the mortgage, and at the end of the month, I had